Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namassami. So here at Bodhivana, we haven't let the coronavirus get in the way of us continuing this 2,500-year tradition of the Katina ceremony. It's quite it's a unique ceremony because it was actually began by the Lord Buddha. Many other ceremonies we may have came late, were introduced later. But this Katina ceremony was began by the Lord Buddha himself. And the occasion that it began in the time of the Buddha was when there was a group of 30 bhikkhus who were travelling to join the Buddha for the Vassa retreat. But they didn't quite make it to where the Buddha was in time. It is said that they got within about 60 kilometers. But then the full moon day happened, and being very scrupulous monks and following the word of the Lord Buddha, they stayed away from the Buddha for that Vassa. But then as soon as the Vassa was over, then they completed the rest of the journey and came to pay respects to the Buddha. And the Buddha asked them, did you pass the Vassa living together in harmony and doing your meditation practice? And the bhikkhu said, yes, we did. And the Buddha was very impressed that they were able to live together in harmony like that. Now the Buddha noticed that some of their robes were looking a bit tatty, and some robes had been offered. So in the spirit of acknowledging the harmony of a community living together, and in the spirit of generosity, the Buddha asked the monks, okay, take this robe cloth and make a robe together and offer it to one of you. So the group of 30 decided who were to take the robe, and then they sat around the katina frame. The katina is the actual wooden frame that the cloth was placed on. Because in those days, of course, there was no sewing machines. So to enable many of the monks to stitch the robe at the same time, they made this katina frame. And then the monks could sew the robe together and then offer it to the designated bhikkhu. So that's what happened today. The lay people kindly offer the robe material, and then the Sangha here decided on who to offer the robe to, and this year they've kindly offered it to me. And now, after this ceremony, the monks will go away and sew a robe. And then this evening, when the robe is finished, we'll have a little ceremony to offer the katina robe. So this occasion of katina is one of creating harmony and generosity both in the Sangha and also for the lay community who come together to offer the cloth, and also it's also occasion they're used to offer other things that the monastery may need, requisites, financial donations to help with paying the costs for running the monastery. So the spirit of Katina is one of generosity and harmony, of people doing something together in harmony, something in the spirit of generosity. And even though it's a little different from normal this year, I've always found the Katina's a very joyful occasion. You know, when a lot of people come together to do something wholesome, it creates a very nice atmosphere. Normally we can feel a bit apprehensive of crowds, and you know, we go on crowded stations and crowded supermarkets and crowded places. But you know, when many people, even though many people come into one place in the spirit of generosity, it creates a joyful atmosphere. And one of the teachings I'd like to bring to mind for everybody today is what the Buddha called the qualities that promote harmony amongst people. And harmony not just in the family, but also harmony in the workplace, harmony in the society. He called these, in Pali, they're called the Sangha Vatu. The basis for like creating social harmony. And, you know, the first quality is dana, is generosity. In England, a few years ago, they did this survey about what brings happiness. It's called the Well-Being Survey. And they asked people, you know, what brings happiness for you? And the quality that came to the top of the list was giving, was generosity. And each of these qualities that I'm going to talk about also, they're supported by the Brahma Viharas of loving kindness, of compassion, joy and equanimity. So just an ordinary act of kindness, how that can bring a quality of happiness. A few years ago at Christmas time, some people, realizing the happiness that comes from giving, decided to make little gifts, wrap them up, and then go to, I think it was some place in London like Piccadilly, and just give out gifts to people on the street because of the appreciation of the benefits of generosity. Nothing expected back, just because they wanted to practice generosity, just from kindness. Yeah? And you know how an act of generosity can bring happiness to oneself and then happiness to the person who receives that generous gift. We may give a gift to somebody who we see is having a difficult time out of compassion. And how, you know, a timely gift can help to allay the suffering of someone. There was one article in the English news, and it was about a lady who was doing, I think, things with flowers to bring happiness to people. And the way she began this was an experience from her own life. And she was having a difficult time. And she was sat on the steps of some place in London, and probably not looking up, her head held low from the burden of the problem she was having. And then she lifted her head, and she noticed that somebody had put a little bouquet of flowers next to her. And really, lightened her heart, that little gesture of somebody just as an act of kindness. And so that inspired her to do similar things to help others. So a timely gift can be something to help somebody who's going through a difficult time. Maybe we can all relate to times in our own life where we've been having a difficult time and somebody has given us a gift. Maybe sent us a card, or sent us a box of chocolates. Generosity is something that, to encourage in our young people. Because for young people these days, there's a lot of things in the media, advertisements, get this, get that. So, one can get into the mindset, I've got to have this and I've got to have that, the latest this, the newest this. And forgetting the importance of generosity. Yeah. So this is something like, as parents and adults, to be an example of generosity and finding a skillful means to encourage the young people towards acts of generosity. And in terms of a generous act by a child, like to something that just happened recently. I have an older sister, and she lives in a care home. She's been mentally unwell for quite a few years now, so now she lives in a care home. And it's quite a struggle now in care homes. They can't have visitors. They're stuck in their rooms because somebody in the home got the virus. My sister received a little card from one of the children in the local school. A little card with a drawing on it, wishing her well. And it really made her day, receiving that card from a child from the school. In fact, it made many days for her. She talked about it for she's still talking about it. How a little gesture can make such a difference for somebody. Yeah. And, I can imagine maybe at the school, the teacher saying to these, people in these homes and they're stuck, they can't have visitors. Shall we do something to cheer them up? And the children rose to the occasion, because, children do. Make the card and personalise it. They might even have seen my sister, right, from the local school. So, find the skillful means to encourage generosity in our younger people. So a gift from kindness, a gift from compassion, and also a gift of appreciation. Gifts to parents, teachers, friends, or somebody or supporting something somebody's doing that's helping the people, the society. In the news at the moment in England, there's a concern about, like, because of the pandemic and the poverty, that many children are not going to get properly fed. So this quite famous footballer has decided to do things to try and get food to the children. And, the government has sponsored it during school term, but now it's holidays. So he's put out an appeal, and it's been so well responded to, because people want to support, kindness, an appreciation for what this Marcus Rashford is doing for the young children. And, for him, he said, because of the wonderful response, he said, I feel proud to be British. So it creates something nice in the society, doesn't it? If it gives one confidence in the goodness of people, especially at this time when we hear so much bad news, the confidence in there are good, kind people out there in society. So it can be inspiring in terms of the mood of the society as a whole when these sort of occasions happen. And then, recently we had the old Captain Tom doing his fundraising for the NHS to help them with handling the pandemic. So, a gift of appreciation to support the good things that people are doing. And of course, this is also the spirit of Katina. People coming here with their generous offerings because out of appreciation for the monastery and the practice and the teachings that happen here. And people want to support that. Yeah. The second quality is kindly speech, piya vacha. And how kindly speech promotes harmony, friendship amongst people. And it's good to be, I think it's good to be reminded about kindly speech, because sometimes in the media we don't see a lot of it, do we? We see people accusing each other, shouting at each other, politicians, the soaps, it becomes what we see on the telly. Hopefully we don't see it as what is the norm, that we can be different. And, for ourselves, how do we feel being around somebody who speaks nice words, kind words, endearing words, uplifting words? Do we prefer to be around people who are aggressive, loud? Or do we prefer to be around people who are kind speech, have useful things, helpful things to say, encourage us in good ways? So the importance of speech that comes from kindness. And, even sometimes we have to say things to people that maybe they're not going to like. But if it still comes from a kindness of heart, then it's more easy for people to listen, isn't it? Speech that can lessen suffering. Kindly speech to lessen somebody's suffering. A few kind words. Maybe at this time we can't see people, we've got telephones and things, we can phone them up, ask them how they are. And again, just to know somebody's thinking of us has a very supportive effect if we're going through a difficult time. And I know this from my own experience, difficult times, and just having a phone call from somebody to ask how you are and give some encouragement has been so supportive. A few wise words. On one occasion, when I first started to practice meditation, I used to go to a little vihara in North London. And in those days, in those early days, meditation was pain and restlessness. It wasn't generally an enjoyable experience, but I thought it was a good thing to do. And in those days, Ajahn Sumedho, Lumpur Sumedho, lived in this vihara in London. So we just finished the meditation, and I think I was sort of in a bit of heavy mood, and I was sort of my head hanging down. And the monks got up to leave the meditation hall, and I was looking at the floor, and then these two large feet stopped in front of me. I don't know if those who've met Ajahn Sumedho, he's got quite large feet because he has this lymphatic problem. And I was looking down at these large feet, and then I looked up, and Lumpur Sumedho was looking down with a lovely smile, and he said to me, "How are you?" And as he said that, all the heaviness from my mind just lifted. Just do a kind word. And, one reads many of the things that the Ajahns have spoke about in terms of how people like Lumpur Cha could just say a few kind words to help to lessen the suffering that they're experiencing. Words to express appreciation in the spirit of mudita. When somebody's done something wholesome and skillful, to express our appreciation of that. Again, this is the expressions of appreciation. Sometimes you don't hear them so much these days. Modern day life, people have tend to develop a more critical faculty, and the focus can generally be on what's wrong, what people are doing wrong, rather than focusing sometimes on the good things that people are doing and expressing appreciation for that. So expressing appreciation to a few, some encouraging words. Expressing appreciation to a kindly speech. The third quality is called Attacharya, which is translated as wholesome conduct. So again, we can do things that can, acts of kindness to help others. And it doesn't be anything grand, but just the quality of just looking out around us, and just noticing if we could help somebody with something. And just little things like helping somebody lift something that's quite heavy. And that sort of an attentiveness, isn't it? Attentiveness to look around us, to see what we can, where we can help in places. Yeah. And that's a wonderful quality when we're in a group of people that do look out for each other and help each other out. That creates a harmony, doesn't it? If we see somebody struggling, having a difficult time, maybe there are things we can do to help to lessen their suffering. Or if we see somebody doing something wholesome and good, in the spirit of appreciation of that, we can offer to support that, do something to help. Now, like here at the Katina, normally there'd be lots more things happening, wouldn't there? Food tables, decorating the site, helping with car parking. So there'd be many people helping with many things. In appreciation of the occasion, of wanting to help with the occasion. So, doing things, charitable work, doing things to help and support the good things that people are doing. So, conduct based on appreciation and joy. And this last quality, the Pali word is sammanatta, attata, and it means like even-mindedness, impartiality. Also, it's been translated as equal participation. And the quality behind this is more with equanimity. And equanimity is about, treating everybody the same, not favouring anybody in particular. So you see, like, say, for an abbot of a monastery, if he just shows favour to a certain one of the monks, gives that monk all the best requisites, only has time for that monk. When that monk has an argument, he always takes the side of that monk. And when he has to go travelling, he always takes that same monk with him. So you can see, how would the other monks feel if they weren't also acknowledged and appreciated? So to bring a harmony in community, one has to make everybody feel that the abbot has a sense of care and appreciation of everybody, yeah? And a sense of even-mindedness. And when there's disputes, that he's willing, he doesn't take sides, but learns to listen and help to resolve any conflicts. When requisites come, to distribute them to everyone. And to take different monks with him when he goes travelling and teaching, to broaden their experience. So this also applies, isn't it, to our families? If we say we have a few children, to favour one children over the others, or to always take the side of a particular person in the family, how that could lead to disharmony. But if there's more even-mindedness, impartiality, then this can help to promote harmony in that group, in that family, or also in work situations. Equal participation. So this is also a spirit of Katina. So the monks will be helping to sew this robe this afternoon. In the spirit of harmony, everybody helps. So when everybody helps, this promotes the harmony in the group. Where if some people don't help, then that can lead to more, not a good feeling in the group. So these are the four qualities that the Buddha taught based on the Brahma Viharas of how to bring more social harmony. And this is about things we do. Because, sometimes people can think Buddhism's very selfish, we shouldn't do anything but meditate, we shouldn't be involved in any things in society. But one of the great practitioners of these four qualities was a layman called Hataka of Alavi. And he was praised by the Buddha. And when he would come to the Buddha, he had a big following. He'd come to the Buddha with his following, and the Buddha said, "Whoa, you've got quite a big following. How do you maintain such a big following?" And he says, "Well, Lord, I practice those things you taught me. When I think kindness, when I think generosity is the appropriate response, I practice generosity. When I feel a kind word is the appropriate response, I offer a kind word. When I think doing something is a suitable response, I do something. And when impartiality is needed, I practice impartiality." So because he'd cultivated these qualities also based on Brahma Vihara, he was able to maintain an harmony amongst the large group. And the Buddha praised Hataka of Alavi. So I'd like to just bring these four qualities to mind at this time of generosity, the theme of generosity and harmony, of the beauty of generosity, of kindly speech, of wholesome conduct, and of even-mindedness, impartiality, and the benefits that these bring if we can practice these in the situations we find ourselves in. It can be challenging sometimes, especially when the influences of the society don't support it. But the importance of these things and if we can practice these things to the best of our ability, this will lead to happiness in ourselves and bring happiness to those around us. So I'd like to offer these reflections.
Dhammayang ovadakatha sadhukarang dadamase sadhu 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 anumodamase ဒာမိ